Hi, Brian here again. Welcome back to Reading Books in Bed. Going to continue on with The Go-Getter. Today's episode is going to be a little short. Going to do chapter 3 and 4. They're both short. If you missed the first two chapters, I'll put a link here for chapter 1. And let's get started. Chapter 3. At 12:30, as Cappy was hurrying up California Street to luncheon at the commercial club, he met Bill Peck limping down the sidewalk. The ex-soldier stopped him and handed him a card. "What do you think of that, sir?" he queried. "Isn't it a neat business card?" Cappy read. "Rick's Lumber and Logging Company, Lumber and its Products, 248 California Street, San Francisco. Represented by William E. Peck. If you can drive nails in it, we have it." Cappy Ricks ran a speculative thumb over Comrade Peck's business card. It was engraved, and copper plates or steel dies are not made in half an hour. "By the 12 ragged apostles!" This was Cappy's most terrible oath, and he never employed it unless rocked to his very foundations. "Bill, as one bandit to another, come clean. When did you first make up your mind to go to work for us?" "A week ago," Comrade Peck replied blandly. "And what was your grade when Kaiser Bill went AWOL?" "I was a buck." "I don't believe you. Didn't anybody ever offer you something better?" "Frequently. However, if I had accepted, I would have had to resign the nicest job I ever had. There wasn't much money in it, but it was filled with excitement and interesting experiments. I used to disguise myself as a Christmas tree or a boxcar and pick off German sharpshooters. I was known as Peck's Bad Boy. I was often tempted to quit, but whenever I'd reflect on the number of American lives I was saving daily, a commission was just a scrap of paper to me. If you'd ever started in any other branch of the service, you'd have run John J. Pershing down to Lance Corporal. Bill, listen. Have you ever had any experience selling skunk spruce?" Comrade Peck was plainly puzzled. He shook his head. "What sort of stock is it?" he asked. "Humboldt County, California, spruce, and it's coarse and stringy and wet and heavy and smells just like a skunk directly after using. I'm afraid Skinner's going to start you at the bottom, and skunk spruce is it. Can you drive nails in it, Mr. Ricks?" "Oh, yes." "Does anybody ever buy skunk spruce, sir?" "Oh, occasionally one of our bright young men digs up a half-wit who's willing to try anything once. Otherwise, of course, we would not continue to manufacture it. Fortunately, Bill, we have very little of it. But whenever our woods boss runs across a good tree, he hasn't the heart to leave it standing, and as a result, we always have enough skunk spruce on hand to keep our salesmen humble." "I can sell anything at a price," Comrade Peck replied unconcernedly, and continued on his way back to the office. Chapter 4. For 2 months, Cappy Ricks saw nothing of Bill Peck. That enterprising veteran had been sent out into the Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas territory the moment he had familiarized himself with the numerous details regarding freight rates, weights, and the mills he represented, all things which a salesman should be familiar with before he starts out on the road. From Salt Lake City he wired an order for 2 carloads of larch rustic, and in Ogden he managed to inveigle a retail yard with which Mr. Skinner had been trying to do business for years, into sampling a carload of skunk spruce boards, random lengths and grades, at $1 above the price given him by Skinner. In Arizona he worked up some new business in mining timbers, but it was not until he got into the heart of Texas that Comrade Peck really commenced to demonstrate his selling ability. Standard oil derricks were his specialty, and he shot the orders in so fast that Mr. Skinner was forced to wire him for money. Mercy and instruct him to devote his talent to the disposal of cedar shingles and siding, Douglas fir and redwood. Eventually he completed his circle and worked his way home via Los Angeles, pausing, however, in the San Joaquin Valley to sell 2 more carloads of skunk spruce. When this order was wired in, Mr. Skinner came to Cappy Ricks with the telegram. "Well, I must admit Comrade Peck can sell lumber," he announced grudgingly. "He has secured 5 new accounts, and here's an order for 2 more carloads of skunk spruce. I'll have to raise his salary about the first of the year." "My dear Skinner, why the devil wait until the first of the year? Your pernicious habit of deferring the inevitable parting with money has cost us the service of more than one good man. You know you have to raise Comrade Peck's salary sooner or later, so why not do it now and smile like a dentifrice advertisement while you're doing it? Comrade Peck will feel a whole lot better as a result, and who knows, he may conclude you're a human being after all and learn to love you. Very well, sir, I'll give him the same salary Andrews was getting before Peck took over his territory. Skinner, you make it impossible for me to refrain from showing you who's boss around here. He's better than Andrews, isn't he? I think he is, sir. Well then, for the love of a square deal, pay him more and pay it to him from the first day he went to work. Get out. You make me nervous. By the way, how is Andrews getting along in his Shanghai job? He's helping the cable company pay its income tax. Cables about 3 times a week on matters he should decide for himself. Matt Peasley is disgusted with him. Ah, well, I'm not disappointed. And I suppose Matt will be in here before long to remind me that I was the bright boy who picked Andrews for the job. Well, I did, but I call upon you to remember, Skinner, when I'm assailed, that Andrews' appointment was temporary. Yes, sir, it was. Well, I suppose I'll have to cast about for a successor and beat Matt out of his cheap I told you so triumph. I think Comrade Peck has some of the earmarks of a good manager for our Shanghai office, but I'll have to test him a little further. He looked up humorously at Mr. Skinner. Skinner, my dear boy, he continued, I'm going to have him deliver a blue vase. Mr. Skinner's cold features actually glowed. Well, tip the chief of police and the proprietor of the store off this time and save yourself some money, he warned Cappy. He walked to the window and looked down into California Street. He continued to smile. Yes, Cappy continued dreamily, I think I shall give him the 33rd degree. You'll agree with me, Skinner, that if he delivers the blue vase, he'll be worth $10,000 a year as our Oriental manager. I'll say he will, Mr. Skinner replied slangily. Very well then, arrange matters, Skinner, so that he will be available for me at 1 o'clock a week from Sunday. I'll attend to the other details. Mr. Skinner nodded. He was still chuckling when he departed for his own office. Well, that's it for today. I'm going to continue tomorrow with Chapter 5. It's going to be a little long of an episode, but it'll finish up the book. There's a link down below if you want to get your own copy. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in next time.